so here we are at TCI. My boy Chris. When did we meet? Do you remember?
Oh man,
Chris Bruner. Let's see.
2017, 2016, 17?
I'm thinking 2016 Arborfest.
Yep.
You were getting prepped to do what appeared to be a vertical speedlining demo, and then the next day you were rocking the wildest bucket I had ever seen. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Davey Tree brought you like a brand new $1 million bucket truck,
we were
and you
in
just got
C.
after it.
Yeah, it was in C.
Yeah.
We had no idea about this bucket truck. It was like so dynamic, and we'd never used it before. Like, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is.
And they also, I seem to remember, they basically delivered it for you and was like, okay, do your demo, and you had like 15 minutes to prepare.
Yes.
Yeah, naturally.
It was pretty fun.
As arborist instructors and trainers, we do find sometimes we just get thrown to the wolves and just get expected to pull off miracles. And I will say, at the time, I was with my now late friend, Justin Hoffmeister, and several other the Nats guys, because I was training for Nats at the time. And I was just blown away because I knew that I was going to be presenting on Sunday. And I rolled up, and here, you've got your microphone set up through like what appeared to be like Sena units on your helmet.
Yeah.
You guys were all decked out with like prototype Akimbos and like brand new, and I don't know if you remember this, but you did look like you were professional motocross racers.
Yeah, because you had
the full brand new Husqvarna.
That was complimentary of
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna wear this.
We're gonna wear
Okay.
this. It's gonna be sweet, dude. We're gonna look totally professional. And then like we all had to wear sunglasses because you guys were so bright. But you guys did a great job, and I remember being really inspired because it was obvious that you guys had done this before together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't that it was rehearsed, but it was that you guys were comfortable with each other. You were really dialed in. So tell me about where you came by that ability to communicate in front of people and to look that comfortable.
I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's weird because as a younger individual before tree work, I was actually very shy.
Okay.
I was a shy guy, like always quiet in the background. I mean, once you got to know me, obviously I would talk, but like shy guy with the girls, shy guy with people that I first met. And I think what it was is just going through the initiations of tree work. You got to be vocal.
Yeah.
Like you can't be shy and quiet.
Yeah.
There's too many moving parts, too much dangerous types of things, and you got to know where your people are at. So I think once I was able to start realizing, hey, you're in control of what's going on here.
That's right.
Speaking.
Yes.
It just made it that much easier. So I'm not scared to talk to anyone.
Right. So when you started like taking on leadership roles in the tree industry, like, do you remember what that was like? Do you feel like were you nervous before you started to realize like, oh my goodness, this is now on me? Or do you think that it came by you naturally because you were already in that role?
I think because I showed, so again, back when I was coming up, the industry has changed quite a bit since then. But
Yes, it has.
what I have to say is back then, if you showed really good ability to lead,
Yep.
whether you were ready or not, they threw you right to the wolves because
Right.
it was really rare to see somebody at a young age have leadership and people follow them.
Gotcha.
And so I had more of a charisma than I would say experience of teaching people how to do things. I just had a better attitude, learning how to. It was cool. People were like, "Dude, that dude's cool."
Yeah.
So I leveraged that the best I could. So,
Mhm.
so what I can say is it was not easy to be thrown that way.
Yep.
And I wish I would have got more from training, which is how the industry has changed now.
Right.
One of the reasons why I train, so we can get people ready to get into those roles, so they feel confident and they know it's not just, hey, you climb trees really good, you should be a leader.
Right. Yeah. And I think that you would agree. We're seeing right now in the industry as it grows so fast, a lot of very talented climbers are they're coming up in the ranks, and maybe they develop that talent through natural ability. Maybe it was through repetition, and they really developed a skill. But what we're seeing is that some of these very skilled climbers, whether or not they have leadership skills, are being placed into leadership positions, whether it's a managerial position or a quoting position or something like that. So you're seeing the physical and athletic skills almost being sort of set aside in favor for almost the necessity to have these people leading. But that's not always like the best way to do things, right? Like did you, when you were coming up, did you go through leadership training? Or like you said, were you just thrown to the wolves and expected to show up?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. There was no sort of formal training on how to be a leader.
Right.
And because my crew respected me, or people that I worked with respected me, other leaders, they were the ones that made the suggestion that he should be a leader. And so again, it was hard to be a young leader, especially when you have to lead people that are older than you and things like that. So again, it was just like I just told you, just here it is, run with it.
Right.
And I did the best I could with what I had.
And as you developed that on your own,
Yes.
did you come up, like, did you find any patterns that remained effective? Like, for instance, one example I have found is you always get those crusty old guys in the class, right? They've been doing it 30 years, and here you come walking in, and you've been maybe doing it like 10 years, and you're possibly half their age, and you need to be able to earn the right with these people, right? So
Yes.
that they're actually going to listen to you. And do you have any tips for up and coming people that are being put into leadership roles or that are pursuing leadership roles on ways that you can sort of break through some of those barriers?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know what helped me when we dropped back and you asked, hey, did you get any leadership training? The only part that really helped me was CTSP.
Okay.
So it gave me a more developed vision on how to be a leader and different looks on how a company runs instead of just like a foreman.
Oh, okay.
And so I think what that did is it brought me back around to anybody new coming in, like, get yourself a little bit of education.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Don't overdo it.
Mhm.
Don't leverage education to make up for what you can't do.
Right.
Get a little bit of education because it builds your confidence as far as being a leader.
I see.
And and only speak about what you know and you've experienced.
Totally.
Don't fake it and try to talk about things that you have not, because
Right.
you'll expose yourself and you'll lose respect and people won't pay attention to you.
And in the big picture, that's a failure, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
you are being given an opportunity to either make somebody's job safer or potentially more enjoyable. And everything that you do as a leader in this industry inevitably has possibly infinite ripples, right? Like infinite effects that are going to trickle through. So if you are going to step into that leadership role, you suggest going out and getting some sort of formal leadership training, right? And you received that through the CTSP program?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
That's all I knew was available at the time. So.
Right, gotcha. Is there any sort of elements, like little sneak peeks, maybe one or two that you could list? Because I'm going to be asking everybody this question, that you would have up and coming leaders embody.
Okay.
Like, here's an example. If you get up in front of a class, it's important to tell the class what they can expect from the class that you're going to give, right? This is what is in it for you, and this is why I'm here. And you have sort of 5 minutes to earn the right to basically get up there and tell these people how it is that you're qualified to do this thing, right?
Okay.
So some of the leadership training that I've taken, we were given a template, right? Essentially, you want to do some short and rolling questions. You want to have everybody in the class forced to take action, right? You say something along the lines of, who here has ever taken a course from us before? And you'll get some hands. And then you'll ask an alternative question that forces the rest of the classroom to put up their hands. Basically, you're putting people in a slightly awkward position and making them do something. Or another example that I might give from experience is those crusty old guys. Try to figure out even one little trick.
Oh, yeah.
One little trick that you can give them where they're like, all right, maybe I will listen to this teenager. You know what I mean? Is there anything else that kind of comes to mind that works for you?
I mean, again, I can only speak about what I've experienced, and I can't give advice on outside of what I've done.
Sure.
When you reach that old guy, when you reach that stubborn Blake's Hitch rope snap guy,
Yes.
if you can reach him at any point,
Yeah.
you have won the entire class. You basically, or the entire company. Or
Right.
what you're doing. Because you need that person to buy in. He's going to lead after you're gone.
Right.
He's been there 35 years, whatever it is.
That is a really good point. So maybe the advice that you're speaking to is like, find the impossible person in the class
Exactly.
and win them.
And give those guys, those older guys that are that stubborn, you got to give them the training and the information in doses.
Right.
You can't show up with all these bells and whistles that work great ergonomically. You got to start with one little thing.
Right.
Just try this, man.
You just try it.
It's just one thing.
You might not like it.
And then later on, when they're like, "Hey, I tried that. It wasn't that bad." Then you're like, "This is what this is," and it's bells and whistles.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like, okay, or you basically, what I call kick their butt. It means okay, let's climb a tree. I want you to set yourself up what you want to do and how you want to do it,
Mhm.
and I'm going to set myself up the way that I want to train you guys. And it's almost like a little competition.
Okay.
Only it's a respectful way of showing that what I'm doing might be better than what you're doing.
Right. Might be.
So an example would be like an older guy. So if I show up to these, and I have before, this has happened. So I showed up, and the old stubborn guy thinks he's doing good because he moved to a split tail and something like that. And I'm just trying to explain to him the ergonomics of using a different type of climbing system. So we get on the job, and most of the time, here's the thing that why these older guys are stubborn too, because a lot of the times they're going to get youngsters that come in with all these bells and whistles that haven't been highly trained on it yet.
Oh, huge.
So now they're counterproductive with it instead of highly productive with it. So now he's not bought in at all. That stuff is obsolete. It's just bells and whistles.
Right.
He
doesn't even consider it.
No, it's moved on. So if I could get him to a point where we can work on a tree together, I let him set up his deal. And when I start moving past him and looking down at him, wondering when you're going to get up here, then they look up and like, okay.
And you're not really breathing as hard.
No, you're not. You're not being disrespectful. You're not being vocal. You're letting the information share itself. It's selling itself.
There you go.
And so now he's like, okay, show me that foot thing.
Yeah.
Show me that.
Show me that damn pants. What the hell was it called?
How'd you do that? Like, he's watching you walk past him. He's like, all right. I need to improve.
Right.
When normally, some new young kid just bought this thing because it's cool and he learned about it, wants to try it. He shows up with it to try to, and old guy's been so experienced with his old system, he whoops the youngsters butt.
Exactly.
It's something that's more advanced.
And all that's doing is like reinforcing that system, that mindset of what I do works, so it's good enough, and I'm just going to keep on keeping on.
And I've put my life on this for this many years, and I trust it.
That's right. Yeah, it hasn't killed me yet, therefore I'm just going to keep on keeping.
Okay, it hasn't killed you yet. Let's do some stretches.
Yeah.
Pop, pop, pop.
Yes.
That's also what it's done to you.
Totally. So actually, to that point, like obviously, there is no way really to do this job without it having some kind of an impact on your body. You're going to get fit, whether you want to or not. You're going to get in shape.
Better own it.
But also, certain aspects of our job are pretty repetitive, and they can be hard on your body. How long have you been doing this?
23, 24 years.
24 years. So is there any advice you would give to up-and-comers, things that they could maybe focus on to extend their career?
Yeah, it's definitely ergonomics, man.
Ergonomics.
Look at things that use the big parts of your body and the big muscles of your body, because it's going to prolong you in a lot of ways. And then treat yourself like an industrial athlete. Like think of yourself, if you really want to be a pro, look at your favorite football team, baseball team, or player and who they are. And study and read up on them. I bet you'll find out that they don't just wake up and hope for the best.
On game day.
Yeah.
They
are studying every angle to make themselves that much more effective, faster, ergonomically saving their bodies. That's the way we have to think. And I'm not telling you what to do on your own time. Do what you want. If you're showing up to work, you're showing up for the game, man.
True.
Get your game face on. Make sure your body's clear. You're fit for duty. And you have the right information and the right gameplay that you're going to run.
Right.
I've coached sports for a lot of years, so that's why I use those analogies.
Well, actually, I could kind of tell,
But, truly, you're an industrial athlete. You're asked to do one of the most dangerous jobs in the world.
Yeah.
You got to take that seriously in your mind.
Totally.
We could sell a chainsaw to anybody. Grandma can go outside and cut a tree.
Absolutely.
She's probably going to hurt herself.
Yes, exactly.
So, take a look and decide whether you want to be somebody who collects a check in the profession or if you want to be recognized as a professional.
Totally. Are you approaching this just for the short-term goal of paying the rent, or are you coming into something and really attempting to achieve some level of mastery?
Exactly.
And your body is going to be the vehicle to do that, right? Do you cross-train? Do you stretch? Yoga?
I stretch
Okay.
every morning, and I stretch every afternoon after work.
Really?
It's I have to for my I'm a little older than the 20-year-olds. So
right.
Just keep yourself mobile.
Got it.
I think one thing, if I could say, the difference between being really good at what you do and being the greatest is this. You can be really good at what you do. Phenomenally respected. You can do any tree project. But being the best is when you can create people like you.
Right.
Or at a 70 to 80% level of your knowledge.
Right.
When you're leading them in the right direction of the things that you've learned. So that's the difference between really good and being the best. You want to be one of the best. It's not just because you're respected for cutting a big tree down. It's because you produced about 2 other guys that are going to start doing the same thing that you do.
Exactly. Because now you're having an immortal effect, right?
Yeah.
You only get, you know, if you're lucky, 40, 50 years of production time out of this body. But you might be able to take those concepts, those skills, those philosophies, and watch them just continue on through the industry.
Oh yeah.
And empowering those people also to have the confidence to get up and lead and speak up when it's necessary. They're going to learn that from your example, right? So with that then, moving forward, where are we headed as an industry? You know, you and I both came into this industry, you know, 20 years ago. I was basically self-taught, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously since then I've taken a lot of training, but it was loose, it was dangerous, it was wild, it was cutthroat. The competition was honestly downright mean. Like, the industry was not welcoming. I think you would agree that over the years that's changed a little bit, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
like, look at this, man. Like, this is beautiful. The machinery, the equipment, the people, like, there's a lot of love in the industry. Where are we headed?
I definitely have seen improvements. Obviously, you have to since when we first started.
Mhm.
And I think where we're headed is we're headed into a direction where the world needs to recognize this as a serious trade.
Right.
You know, and we're headed in a direction where probably these generations that are new at this are not going to have to experience what we do. And it's fair. I mean, we experienced that, so they didn't have to. Kind of like being a parent.
The shoulders of giants, yeah.
You know, like I went through this, so I can make a better start for my son. So it's the same thing in the industry. People like you, Jared, other leaders, other trainers in the industry, we're committed to watching a change. We're committed to raising the standard up so that people don't have to start at such a painful low level.
Right.
And that's where I see the industry going. I see it. And not only that, but it's going to be, sorry guys, if you sign up for tree work thinking you're not going to have to read and study or use computers,
There we go.
that's the future period.
Right.
Everything's going to be digital. I mean, pretty soon, there might not be that many climbers. There's going to be some sort of device that climbs up the tree and starts cutting branches off. So,
Right.
you know, that's where I see the future going with tree work. But by all means, there's always going to be an ability for somebody that needs to climb. Equipment is not going to get there.
Yeah.
And we already have advanced systems on ergonomics and being faster and more productive. So if I can tell you, the industry is moving in a direction of technology leads.
Okay.
As far as from a JSA down to your equipment.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, whether or not you're just, instead of writing it down, you're putting it into, you know, a digital format immediately. And I don't know if you've run a lot of like the spider lifts or even some of like the remote controlled grapples. It's a video game. Our job is becoming a video game at some times, right? Like, obviously, like you said, there's places machinery just isn't ever really going to get, right?
No.
It's either climbing or a helicopter. But I totally agree. And, you know, that is our industry is a microcosm of the world. Technology isn't going anywhere, so embrace it or get left behind.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's just, I had to accept it. Like, I was never a computer or tech guy. I got
Right.
tree care because I didn't like computers. And then,
Gotcha.
you know, it's about 12, 15 years ago, I had to accept the fact that, hey, dude, you got to get on computers. Now, I don't know how to do it any other way. Like,
Right.
obviously, I can't build a bunch of apps
apps
and stuff,
and
but
stuff, yeah.
as soon as you show me how to run it, I'm going to take that to the field and I'm going to take it to the guy who thinks he's the dumbest and be like, dude,
Check
you
it
got
out.
this. This is really easy.
Yeah, let's do
Watch
this.
this. Swipe, you're done, man.
Gotcha.
Everybody's got the info. So.
Right on, man. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. I have one more question.
Sure.
What's your favorite part of the job?
Oh man.
Oh man, you'd think that'd be an easy one.
There's so many good parts. There's so many rewarding parts. It depends on what I'm doing that day.
I totally understand. And your job is a career. You're training, you're doing production tree work, you're building systems, you're building training protocol, things like that. But if you could dial in, your position in the industry is unique. What's your favorite part about where you are now in the industry? Because not everyone's where you are. You know what I'm saying?
I think my favorite part is to have the ability to share this information with other good trainers, or learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing about what I do is the reward and the benefit of reaching that person. If it's one or two people out of the whole crowd, when I see their eyes light up and I know I'm changing a life or sending somebody in the right direction,
Yeah.
that's the reward for me. That's what I do.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm proud to call you a friend. Good luck over at Pro Action. Kick some ass. And you know, I'm just looking forward to the next adventure. I'm sure there's going to be many. My permanent residence just got approved for the U.S. So
Sweet, dude. You know we're gonna work together. Man.
there's going to be we're going to have some times.
Oh,
So
yeah.
appreciate it. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thanks,
the
guys.
one and only, man. And
Keep it pro.
yeah, keep it pro. That's it. Okay. Peace out.